They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on, all of you football fans out there? Welcome back to the Snick Snack Sports Fantasy Football Podcast. How are you doing today, Nate?
What's going on?
What's going on? I'm having a great time. Came very close to a win last week against the number one team in the league, and happy to move forward here against another worthy adversary.
Yeah, it's we're both 1-3, but it's one of us is gonna be 2-3 next week, so because we're against each other.
Yeah, I mean, you like to tie. I've never tied before, but don't plan on it. I'm planning to win by a decent amount here.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I am favored, and of course, our bet this week will be the matchup, as the tradition has said. And we'll break that down in a minute. But last week we had another matchup. It was the rookie matchup. It was hard to say, I think, for me, who was going to be better, Malik or Marvin Harrison. But the more consistent rookie did win the day, and Malik Neighbors scored 20 points. I think it was just an over 100 yards in the day, despite the trash fest he played in.
Mm-hmm.
He did come out with a concussion. Hopefully he's all right. But he beat Marvin Harrison's average day.
Yeah, no, he was good. No chance you want to have the same bet back again this week, do you? Just in case he's out.
It'd sell for me, but the bet this week I'm pretty happy with myself. We might as well break it down now, I think.
Yeah.
Pulling that up.
Gets together here.
So if we scroll over to Mighty Ducks versus Tango with the Truck Fathers, I am pleased to see that I already seem to have 10 points. So sorry, Snickers.
Drake got a tutty already.
It does look that way. We're 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter of the Tampa Bay Atlanta game, and so I like to see that. He was one of the guys who has not been maybe pulling his weight on my team, and so he already has a decent day.
Mm. No, I mean, I always hate seeing people score against me during our podcast. It's really off-putting, but I do have Drake in my other league, so I'm pretty happy with that. Need to get some points over there as well.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the key to your victory here? I see that Tyler Algier, the newest member of your team, hasn't scored yet.
Like you said, the game just started, but no, he's going to come in against Tampa Bay. They're going to be hard to run against, but he's going to be able to catch a couple balls, get out there. Obviously, it's my receivers that are carrying me through that, and my star quarterback Jaden Daniels being the best quarterback in the league statistically so far.
Yeah, that's a surprise. A very pleasant one. I always like it when a new rookie flashes on the scene like he has been. But I honestly think I'm feeling pretty of this bet. Not only the projections are in my favor, but I think I have an all-around stronger roster here with some big blow-up guys. Nico has been super good this year. Kenneth Walker had a great week last week. Joe Burrow is playing against Baltimore, who you can't run against. I'm feeling pretty pleased.
Judging by you can't run against, you're playing Cincinnati's running back.
Yep.
Pointing it out there.
Indeed, but he's gonna catch a touchdown. That's why I'm
okay. Sounds good. Yeah, one thing going for you, you did win the Kareem Hunt sweepstakes. You beat me out just by a little bit on the putting money on him. I think I put $1 down.
Yeah, as long as you don't overspend on these guys, it's all good. So as it was a narrow margin within 50, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's all good there. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this matchup. We got good teams. Obviously, we both have one or two guys that are on the bench here on their bye week. Some are a little bit more influential than others, I would say, because you guys play for the Tennessee Titans and mine play for the Detroit Lions, but all good. Get ready to come into this week and blow you out here.
Yeah, and that's a good reminder that it is the first bye week, so people pay attention to that stuff. Looking at you, Katie and John, who are playing each other. So I guess we could have bye fest going on.
Yeah,
but yeah, I actually. So which teams are on bye? It's Lions and
Lions, Titans, Eagles, and someone else.
yeah, some other team. They're not on my roster, so um, there you have it. Um, Now, looking at the standings for this week, things have moved around in interesting ways. We still have two undefeated teams. They have
Yep.
not played each other yet, but we got Kyle and we have Ducky. You did almost beat Ducky last week.
If not for a Herculean performance by Hercules himself, Derrick Henry, I would have beaten Ducky by 10, 15 points. So good on you, Derrick Henry. Obviously, you're still the best for a reason, but that was a close one.
Yeah, certainly that was a fun one to watch. We have right now in playoff positions also we have Kenny, mid-tier Nick, Carson, and Matt. And then Kyler finds himself just outside of playoff contention at 2-2, but his team is a little bit in rough shape. So I'm not feeling too worried about passing him, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he did beat you, didn't he?
He did beat me. It was a close game. It was my team's worst week of the season. Looking forward to the rematch. And looking at the points for and against, we can see both of us are pretty middle of the pack. We're actually very close to each other in points for at this moment. Eighth, or I'm in fifth and you're in eighth. In this tightly grouped set of people, and I think where things will swing our way. I think we're both, with the scoring we've had, deserve to be 2-2, but we know that deserve doesn't always matter in fantasy football.
Yeah. I mean, I could argue for 3-1, but no, I'm very, very content 1-3 team right now, honestly, because I've gone up against one of the better teams in the league. Should have won that game. Taking care of who I needed to take care of, and I also have the best player in fantasy football coming back from IR at some point here. So my team's only going to get better from here.
Could be. Could be. We don't know when he's coming back yet, but hopefully soon for your team. And tell us about the news from the injuries this week. There were some tough ones.
Yeah, there were some tough ones. Like we said, Malik Neighbors got a concussion. We're going to see if he plays. I'm not 100% sure he will. We got Rashee Rice. Patrick Mahomes hit him in the knee, and he's on to IR now. So that's kind of stinks there. Anthony Richardson, Shane, listen up for this because I know you like playing him and having him get 7 points. If he plays this week, he's going to get 7 more points. Shoulder injury, right throwing shoulder is what he ended the season last year. Joe Flacco comes in, might be a different outcome here. Christian Watson, the mini giraffe, he's out. It's going to be a tough one for him. I know we got Dontavian Wicks. We got a lot of other Packers receivers up there, but some good news. Nick Chubb, start of the season on IR, is coming back to practice. He can get taken off the IR anytime soon.
Yeah, he got injured. What was it? It was either very early in the season or in the preseason last year.
Yeah, it was week 2 last year, I think.
So good to see him making it back. I was worried that his career might be done. I guess we don't know yet, but he gets to try. So yeah, the Christian Watson, not that he was doing very much for fantasy football himself, but his absence seems to have opened up a lot of wide receiver options on that team, and it's exciting to see who's gonna maybe kind of seize the role.
Like my guy Josiah DeGuara, who's not in the team anymore. I don't know what team he's on, but he was on the Bears last year, and I haven't checked this year.
I mean, you gotta check before you wear a man's jersey.
Nah, most of my jerseys I retired a long time ago, so just like yours.
Oh no, he still plays.
I'm pretty sure he retired in the offseason.
No, this man is on the Bills, at least according to the fantasy football app.
Okay.
Indeed. So now just before we have our guest in the show, which is Shane, we can look at a couple of highlights from last week. Um, and let's see. We've got, yeah, I was just looking up to see what happened with Damian Harris, but it doesn't say on the front page. Um, so yeah, me and Matt had a reasonably close matchup. It was actually one that was back and forth all day, but really the nail in the coffin was Lamar's very strong performance and Jordan Mason's continuing to perform very well,
Hmm.
which meant that Tony Pollard overperforming was exciting, but didn't matter. And of course, the very embarrassing thing that my Kenneth Walker on IR scored 32 points, which would have won me the day had I been more confident that he would actually play that game.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's done that before though. He comes back and he just is good the first game out of IR, first game out of injury. He's done that last year. So I mean, you gotta respect the canine there.
Yeah. Kyler won another poop fest. Shane's team continues to struggle. I'll be looking forward to see what he has to say about that. Um, Kyle had a very close matchup in which both teams are under 100 as well. Got away,
Yeah.
got away with one here, though he has been playing very well in the season. And yours was really the closest on the week statistically. The other two were kind of blowouts.
Yeah, I mean, it was Chucky was projected to win by a lot. I was projected to win by a little bit, and then it kept going back and forth. Obviously, Sunday night football, if that didn't happen, I would have won by a lot. But
Hmm.
no, that's what it was. But then Kenny bounced back, got a big win against John here, who I think might have checked out for the season already, but we'll see when he comes onto the pod.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so now be looking forward to going over some of the other matchups, and we're joined in just a moment by our guest today, Shane, who is his team struggling right now, and I want to hear what his thoughts. So welcome to the show, Shane. We're on. How's it going, Shane?
Thanks for that great introduction, Nate. I'm feeling zazzy today.
Feeling
Yeah.
zazzy.
We're here. You're here obviously to talk about your ailing football team, but you also seem to be doing some exciting journalistic work.
Well, you know, us journalists have been under attack for the past decade or so. We're trying to do good work, but then there's people like you who come in and scrub all the good stuff when they find out it might not be a great PR play for them. So really disappointed in you and your team of lawyers for taking out that interview before the people got to hear.
Are you telling me that the interview never aired, Shane? Because I wasn't aware of that.
You weren't aware of that. That's a great answer that your PR team put together for you, Nathaniel. You'll be hearing from my PR team maybe next week.
I I know that I was accused of being a child cannibal, and all I have to say about that is that if that's true, then where are the children?
They're eating. I'm not on anyone's side there, but that's not the great argument, Nate.
Show me the children, Shane.
I will be at Braintree's wastewater treatment facility tomorrow, and we can determine there.
Okay. But this may all be a distraction from what has become maybe the most epic decline in fantasy performance I've seen in the first 4 weeks. I think, have maybe the second, third, and fourth weeks together maybe add to the first week score.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What's going
Where did
on?
you get that information from?
From the website here, you scored 160 in week one, and then it was 70, 80, 60 the next couple of weeks.
You know, math is hard. Who can really say?
Yeah.
But what's going on with your team?
You know, you get off to a hot start. Everyone's feeling it. And maybe you go to trip on trip to Vegas. Things get
Hmm.
things get a little crazy, and you know things happen.
Yeah, you pick up Vlad McConkey, and then I see you got a new quarterback in your lineup.
Yeah, nobody knows if Anthony Richardson's going to play. He got injured in back-to-back plays
To back.
last week,
Yeah.
and they just kept throwing him out there to get hit. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But the thing is, Shane, that I'm wondering if this might be a bit of a what was that old Urban Meyer's situation? You know, the team was starting the year off strong, thought they had someone good, and then he just kind of killed all their morale. How do you feel about comparisons between you and Urban?
I feel very similar to Urban. I also kick kickers,
Hmm.
but they don't make their field goals. I feel like I have a plan, or at least a concept of a plan, just like Urban had. It's gonna
Yeah.
be 2 weeks. I'm gonna just cross my I's and dot my T's, and it'll be turned around.
Have you been to any steakhouses in Ohio recently?
Yes, I usually let women who are not my wife or girlfriend sit on my lap while doing so. That's
Okay. Well, that's a good path to follow. That means you're not going to finish the season, just let you know. Spoilers there, but no, I'm excited to see it unfold here.
Yeah, do you care to speculate who might replace you as manager of your team, Shane?
Yes, me and Caitlin have been in talks. She does not seem interested yet, but I think I'm going to go with the hard sell pretty soon, and
Hmm.
she's going to say yes.
Interesting. I look forward to seeing that. This is my roommate, Caitlin, you're talking about, so
Yes.
we'll see. We will see. And Shane, why don't you also turn this conversation over to your matchup this week versus mid-tier Nick, who is currently in fourth place. You're currently in 10th place, and you already have 10 points. So,
Yes, I'm currently beating him, so if that's any indication, which it typically is, whoever wins Thursday night always wins the week.
Hmm.
unfortunately, I think that may not be in your favor, Shane, because he does have Baker Mayfield, and I have a hard time seeing a situation where Mike Evans outscores Baker.
It could happen.
It could happen, but it's tricky to outscore your own quarterback.
But we are talking about mid-tier Knicks team. Don't forget.
Yeah, definitely the middest of tiers there. No, historically, I think he's probably the second best. We'll argue that later.
He's feeling good at 3-1, but we always know how his team ends up. And this is the
Hmm.
start of the decline.
Yeah, he's already playing Zeke, so you have a bit of an advantage over him there. And in fact, ESPN thinks you're going to win.
Hmm. ESPN's always correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean this is the week to play him without Saquon. It sounds like so. That's a pretty good matchup here. But this is the start of his declines. Is the start of your incline here.
Yeah, I feel like this is where my team gets its panache back, you know?
Mm.
Now, what has your relationship been like with Isaiah Likely? I know you spent up big time on him. What was it, 49? And he's in your lineup. I'm glad to see he hasn't been riding the bench, but what's going on there?
So my relationship with him is that I spent $49 on him, and now I can't let the sunk cost fallacy sink in, and I just got to keep playing him, you know?
Mm.
That I think that is how the sunk cost fallacy works. Uh,
Yeah. I see he's projected 5.2 points, which is zero point 0.1 points less than Mark Andrews projected in my other league. So I think I might be benching Mark Andrews going forward after the double goose. I don't want to see the triple goose here. I'm not trying to start any new fairy tales right now. But no, yeah, I
uh,
think you got a chance here. See if you can topple mid tier.
yeah, and to answer my question more directly, Shane, it sounds like your relationship with Isaiah Likely is platonic. Would you say that's true?
With some benefits, but mainly platonic.
He is from Cambridge, so there's the option for it to grow. He's not that far. Um, but I see, yeah, what drove the decision to bench Anthony Richardson this week? I mean, Trevor Lawrence has not been good this year either.
Well, Anthony Richardson might not play, so I had him on the bench just in case I forget to check my lineup, and he gets a last second scratch. So I just remember to put him in if he gets the all clear.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it's a good matchup though. Be fun to watch here moving forward. Another one I was looking at was Kyle versus Carson, not necessarily because it's going to be a great matchup, but because Carson's actually projected to win against Kyle here. So let's see why that is. Maybe
Kyle,
because Kyle has negative 3 points right now.
Yeah, it seems that Young Wei Koo may have missed a field goal.
hmm,
DB Young Way, yeah.
Cuckoo Cuckoo, Young Who.
Um, but yeah, I am surprised to see that, but it looks like a lot of what's driving that is that Kyron Williams has this monster projection going on right now on Carson's team.
Yeah.
Uh, and Terry McLaurin is coming back to relevance, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely could be. And I'm looking at Kyle's bench right now. Malik's on the bench right now. Jameson Williams on by. So I mean, he has a couple guys that aren't playing or might not be playing this week. Where Carson has a full lineup. He has Brock or Dak he can play. He's got obviously Sam Darnold, the number one quarterback in the league. But yeah, this is a fun matchup. A lot of star power on each team, a lot of stinkers on each team as well. But I think it'll be a fun matchup here.
Yeah, looking at this roster, I didn't realize how much I liked Carson's lineup, and I'm calling him all the way on this one. I mean,
Hmm.
Jaden Reed has his quarterback back. Um, you know, Debo Samuel's back to health. He has Austin Seibert, best kicker in the league. So really a fun roster for him.
How
And he's
about top 20 kicker in the league? Yeah.
and he also has Sam Darnold in his back pocket whenever he wants it, which was kind of a smart pickup. I assume he wasn't on his roster to begin the season.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Shane? Can Kyle come back from this 3-point hole right now?
Nope. If he loses Thursday, he loses the week.
Hmm. And seeing as neither team have any other players, they just need to get Yippee Young Way into the positives. Then Kyle will win, you think?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot riding on his kicking then. I mean, he he must have missed a really easy one because he lost 4 points on it because he got 1 point from the extra point already.
Yeah.
He misses one more field goal. His Kyle's week is done. Sounds like done.
Hmm.
Um, that's tragic. I'm also there's I think the highest profile matchup this week is Ducky versus Kenny, our second and third place teams right now. So this is a bit of a blockbuster. They're projecting currently have them very close, although Nick is favored. Who do you guys think is coming out on top here?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one because Kenny's starting Chuba Hubbard and Bucky Irving at running back, which I can't say that my running backs are any better, but going up against Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara, that's that's a tough matchup here. Although Ducky is choosing to not play kicker, I'm assuming he's going to fix that. I think I'm going to have to pick Ducky on this one. If he can beat me, he can beat anyone, right?
Yeah, good points. I mean, if you can beat the ninth place team, then you can probably beat all the rest of the teams too. Um, and yeah, I didn't notice the kicker thing, so he's going to have another 10 points on his projection. So he's actually heavily favored. And yeah, Kenny's running back situation is not good this week. I assume that's because of buys. Yeah, Jameer Gibbs at least.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Kenny is starting at least 4 new players, it looks like on my account here.
well, he does have Brian Robinson in his flex, so
Right.
Bucky Irving's really a flex player today.
Yeah, but you can't put your Thursday night player in the flex. That's a rough outcome there.
Now, I will say that it is very unlikely that Ducky wins the Thursday night matchup. So I don't know what you have to say about that, Shane, but
Yeah, no kicker, no Thursday night players. He's really putting himself in a big hole here. I don't
Hmm.
see how he comes back.
yeah, I despite not hating Kenny's lineup, I do think he loses this week. I called him to lose last week. I was wrong. He did call me out for it. And then I told him he would lose every week again the rest of the year. I think I'm right.
Yeah. And okay.
So never mind everything I said about him. His team's trash. He's a terrible fantasy football player.
Yeah, making that trade for Christian Kirk.
Hmm.
Who wants Christian Kirk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I think it's a good enough time to talk about that as there is a trade this week between myself and
Hmm.
Kenny. A lot of drama behind it, but I got Tyler Algier off his team, who's playing right now, and he got Christian Kirk off my team, who I picked up off waivers last week. So I feel like I wasn't losing much. I'm not necessarily a Christian Kirk guy, but he's playing him, and what happened is neither of us wrote the trade into the Discord group chat. So the trade was initially vetoed by the league managers, and we had to fight tooth and nail to get the trade to go through here. But this is a PSA here, public service announcement. You have to write your trades in the thing, or else the manager is going to be jerks about it.
Yeah, they enacted a bit of a obtuse rule, one that may not be obvious to everybody, and so now we know. You got to put it in there, or they will just click no.
The more you know.
So, yeah, what do you think, Shane? Who won this matchup? It wasn't a blockbuster, or this trade, but there's the Christian Kirk versus Algiers. They're both kind of waiver wire pickups, but
So I always like going for the handcuff in this situation. I don't think Christian Kirk's gonna elevate past, I don't know, number two or three in Jacksonville, no matter what. Whereas
Hmm.
Algier could be a RB1 if Bijan gets injured or gets sent to the bench. He got outrushed by Algier last week, so
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Bijan has a question mark next to his name right now. I have him in my other league, so it kind of feels like I have both handcuffs here. But I thought it was pretty good because he needed a receiver a little bit, and I needed a running back a little bit. So it's hard to say that anyone drastically won the trade there, but I thought it was fun. Nate, I know you like Christian Kirk. What are you thinking about this?
yeah, I mean, I can see Shane's argument for why you would want a guy who has a chance to elevate. The thing is, I mean, it depends on your needs, I guess, because Christian Kirk, I think, has the chance to score 20 points every week. Algier doesn't really, I don't think. There are a lot of weeks where he's going to be irrelevant unless something happens. But at the same time, Christian Kirk has not been utilized a lot this year.
Yeah,
So, um, it's I'm not really going for either of these guys. I think I prefer Christian Kirk, but not by much.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and let's look at the offer report. This was actually a very active week, mostly due to me, Kenny, and Nick. But I did pull a U, Shane, and I spent 42 on Kareem Hunt. Uh,
yeah. And that less than $50 gap between the next highest bid there was impressive.
now, now you have some perspective on this, Shane, as someone who's overspent before. What do you, how do you explain that no one else even paid anywhere close on Kareem Hunt? It boggles my mind.
if you're referring to the Isaiah Likely situation, Matt bid 30, so I needed to spend up to get him, whereas a single dollar bid for Kareem Hunt is quite a gap to fill there, Nate.
Which, for the record, is the league minimum. I was not allowed to bid zero, or else I would have.
No, now you two explain to me why are people not bidding on Kareem Hunt? This my argument goes. Carson Steele got $20 bid on him. He never could have been the starter for the rest of the season. He's a fullback basically. Then they hired somebody who had a very good season last year in Kareem Hunt, very productive. The team knows him. He could very well be the starter for this year. I don't care that Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes back. Yes, there is some risk of a yucky timeshare. But for $42, I'm getting a potential guy I can start in my flex the rest of the season. That's worth it.
It could be worth it, but yeah, like you said, there's a five-way running back room in a couple weeks here in Kansas City, and Kareem Hunt's a piece of garbage. So I definitely didn't want him. I saw that there was a chance for him to be good this week. That's why I put $1 in. But I'm happy with. I put some money down on Justice Hill, number 2 in Baltimore, because even with Derrick Henry doing all he did last week, Justice Hill still scored over 10 points. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Hmm. Hey, are you a little afraid that Kareem Hunt's just Flibbertigibbet potentially?
Now, what is a Flibbertigibbet in your mind, Shane?
Doesn't matter what it's like in my mind, Nate. It's what the dictionary defines it as.
I always saw a Flibbertigibbet as being a good thing. I hope he's a Flibbertigibbet.
Hmm. Well, for your sake, you better be for $42. But you better watch out. I think he spins tales of confabulation very often and can confuse you.
Maybe, maybe, but I actually don't speak to him. This is a fantasy league, so I'm not too worried about the confusion part.
You don't
Um,
talk to your players, Nate?
nope, we're on a purely visuals only relationship.
Hmm. Just do catcher to pitcher baseball signals to them?
Yeah, sign language, all that kind of stuff. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Like a
Uh,
Helen Keller situation.
perhaps, although she can't really use sign language because she can't see. But um, the I also went and picked up Dontavian Wicks, and this was another one who I'm pretty happy with the pickup, even though I overspent on him too. He had 13 targets last week. How many guys in the waiver wires get 13 targets?
How many guys in the league get 3 touchdowns over 2 weeks, like Quentin Johnson, who you dropped?
That's true too. I had to drop somebody, and people are welcome to pick Quentin up if they want. He's still there.
He's the huge.
And I would consider picking. He was a valuable member of the team. I'd consider picking him back up again, but I wanted to see where all these targets were going to end up for Dontavian.
Hmm. Yeah, and Kenny picked up a couple guys, Tucker Kraft, tight end of the Packers, and Justin Fields as a
Mhm.
potential starting quarterback for him. And there was a bid off for Wandale Robinson where it looks like Ducky won the bid despite having a lower waiver priority. Nate and I are assuming it's because Kenny had already waived a guy onto his team that he went back in the waiver priority there. But Shane, do you have any input there? The league settings aren't very specific about that.
Yeah, I guess if Kenny used his priority elsewhere in the same free agent period, then maybe he drops down after a successful bid elsewhere.
Mm.
That's what we were speculating. The only rules in the rule book are that at the beginning of every week it resets to reverse order of standings, which would give Kenny the bid. So I'm not going to try to put out any gates out there intentionally, but waiver gate is what I've been hearing people talk about, which is that there might be an abuse of power with our commish in maybe artificially setting his priority above Kenny to get this Wandale done. What do you guys think
Yeah,
about waiver?
I've been hearing it everywhere, Nate. Everyone's talking about it. This is the biggest gate anyone's ever seen.
I
You know,
agree. I don't start the gates, I just perpetuate them. And that's what's going on here. So as a professional on this podcast, I will refrain from the Down with Ducky campaign as commissioner, but I do support it.
and you do encourage it from your guests and listeners.
I do. And in fact, I require it.
All right, here we start. Down with Ducky. Down with Ducky. Down with Ducky.
So you heard it here first, people, or you didn't hear it here first, unless you were involved in lots of other discussions, because we just telling
Yeah.
you the news.
hmm
Just off
Um,
top of the head, yeah.
Um, and then it was kind of sneaky of you, Nick. You picked up the Broncos. I also wanted the Broncos because what is the number two defense on the whole year doing on waivers? But apparently I underspent.
That's a great question. Someone dropped them, and a couple people wanted them, and I spent up $6 to go and get them.
Yeah, I think that was smart. I was looking at their schedule. They also have you can play them for the next few weeks. So very nice. Let's see. We talked about the trades. No hot takes today.
Hold on,
But
you didn't talk about the most important game.
which game is that?
Katie versus John.
Ah, the toilet bowl. Yes. We can bring that up.
These are
Honestly,
two
that
powerhouses
that
going at
was on the docket as Nate's game of the week, Shane, and he changed it at the last second.
I did.
This is
We
clearly a powerhouse matchup.
Yeah, we were wondering if it might be bye fest. So far,
Mm.
only one player on bye is on a starting roster, and that's on Katie. She still has a chance to change it, so it's not necessarily even a failure. Oh, and Snickers, here's the other team. Chargers run by.
Yeah, yeah. But it looks like John actually has set his lineup already prior to Thursday night because Amon-Ra is on his bench,
John,
learning
I'm
from his
very
mistakes in the
impressed.
past. Yeah.
So there you have it. John wins this matchup. He started all his players. Um, he is gunning for the win. I think a lot of years, if he started his team is weirdly good most of the time if he starts everybody.
Yeah. He has had a funny quarterback situation going on this year between Caleb Williams, Kirk Cousins, and uh, Jordan Love. He plays whoever did best last week instead of looking forward to try and guess who does this week. He hasn't gotten it 100% correct yet. It's a fun story to watch here. Obviously, Katie's got Josh Allen. She doesn't have anything to worry about there.
Yep, yeah, she's just plugged him in all year, and that's probably not a bad choice. Um, So there you have it. His team also, yeah, has been a little bit damaged by injury, but I guess we all have this year. Um, yeah, I'd call John here for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Katie there with all the young talent on the team. I know DeAndre and Tyreek might not be what we thought they're gonna be during draft season based on a lot of different factors there, but she got some chutzpah on her team there, and I think she might be able to get it, especially if she plays Jake Ferguson over Dallas Goddard. Get some extra points there.
Hmm.
I think she heard you.
I don't think she watches, but
I don't think so either. But that I think is all the time we have for today. So good luck everyone on your week, unless you're Nick, because you're gonna lose. And down with Ducky as commissioner. Corruption will not be had here. Waiver Gate has been exposed. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining today, Shane.
No problem. Down with Ducky.
Down with Ducky.
nice little quiet exit.